We left off part one of this incredible chat and business story with Phil from Kinex Health, talking about the devil on our shoulders when it comes to prioritising wellness as entrepreneurs. The emotions of change that business brings, and some pretty real talk on the financial side of things, which you know we are all about. If you haven't heard that episode yet, head back to part one, which is in the show feed now ready for you. And if you have listened to part one and you're ready to roll with me right into part two, let's get into it. And you're going to hear about the benefits of not niching down, controversial, working out what success really is for you, establishing if what you're doing is truly bringing you joy and how to establish that, and why you cannot give enough of your knowledge away. Let's get you right into it. The personal development we have to go through as business owners is ridiculous. And we all know that growth is just so intense. I want to take us back to the feel at the beginning of this journey that's like, cool, I'm investing in this thing to think about, and I'm building this and I'm doing this. Who is forgetting about marketing and not spending quite as much time thinking about that as so much as the building process, which is, I think, such a normal process for us all to go through. So when did that change for you, and how did you approach it? Because, you know, you have a service offering, and that's one that is a unique thing to market, and sounds like you have quite a challenging audience to find too, because if you're working with organizations and individuals, you've got like quite a lot of market segments and a lot of ground to cover there with marketing. So how did you approach it, and what's worked well for you?
Yeah, so what was the point where we realized that it was important? I remember the moment, the second that it happened. I was in a meeting with a very, very big company. I'd gotten this meeting through an old friend of mine, and I had two very high up people in this meeting with me. It was supposed to go for an hour, and I had a different idea of what the meeting was supposed to be about. But basically, I was supposed to be pitching them what we could actually do for them. My message was so wishy-washy, and just, I recognized in the moment it was so ridiculously broad that I could see in their eyes, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And I knew at that moment that we had failed in crafting our message, because here I was with my target audience, the biggest shot that we were ever going to get, that we'd ever had up to that point. And one of the biggest shots still in my career that I ever had, and blew it. I knew that our message sucked, and it didn't matter if 10,000 people heard it. Not many people were going to take it up, because it wasn't there. We weren't telling people what we could do for them. We weren't telling people how we could actually help them. It was just it was getting lost. And I saw it in their eyes, and I sat there and I went, oh shit, I blew it. I blew it big time. So then we went back and we started really working on the message. What can we actually do for people? How can we help people? And from that moment on, things started to get better. We still have heaps of work to do on it, honestly. It's not something that comes naturally to me. So it's something that we really, really work hard on. But in terms of our marketing, like, we do zero paid advertising, for better or worse. We do almost everything through LinkedIn and through word of mouth. Now, that's a slow way to build. We have no real sales pipeline. Giving away the company secrets here. People are going to listen to this and go, you're an idiot, son. But I find that when you do that, when you sell through LinkedIn, when people actually approach you because of the expertise that you can give them, the value that you give them every day, it builds a really high trust relationship. And that's what we've experienced. So we built far more slowly than I thought we would. And other people would look at it and go, that's terrible. You've built way too slowly. But the relationships that we have, we keep them. Even when during COVID, budgets were slashed and we lost basically half of our business overnight. Over the next few months, we built up to more than that. And the people whose budgets got slashed, they either brought us back, or when they moved on to other companies, they brought us in again. So it's the way to, it might not be high volume, but it's high trust, and it creates relationships where you really want to work with that person really wants to work with you. So at the first sign of trouble, things don't get dropped, things get adapted, which is my favorite way to do business. And I will trade a lot of volume so I can have that high trust. And in terms of our marketing now, I get asked all the time what our niche is, and we don't have one. Again, I think a lot of times to our detriment, because it's a lot easier to craft a message when you are speaking to a niche. For me, I think that's actually a strength. What it does for us is it gives us this incredibly broad range of experience. So we deal with not-for-profits, we deal with construction companies, we deal with pharmaceutical companies, we're working with charities, working with tech startups. There's no one industry that we sort of don't have our view across. And that for me is really, really helpful for two reasons. It gives you all this experience, people in different stages of their life and experiencing different challenges and opportunities. So you're learning every single day that we're doing this, we're learning. And also it's fun. It's fun as hell. If I had to work in one niche doing one thing forever, that sounds like hell to me. We're rewatching Breaking Bad at the moment, and every time they're down there, not that I say I want to cook meth for a living. And actually I'm saying I don't want to cook meth for a living because it looks boring as batshit. Like they're down there and they're earning millions upon millions of dollars, but they're just doing the same thing, the same process, the very same thing all the time. They're down in that basement and they're cooking meth. I couldn't think of anything worse. That sounds bloody horrendous. I like being excited. I like challenges. I like solving problems. I like fun stuff. And I will give away a lot of money in potential customers and clients in not finding my niche to have that fun, that experience, that thing that lights me up and that I actually want to do. Like, my work is fun as hell. I love it. I genuinely love doing this and coming to work, and I won't ever trade that. Doesn't matter. No, there's no amount of money. I'll never trade that.
You reminded me of a book I read recently, Tim Duggan's latest book called Work Backwards, in which he says figuring out what you need to earn, like what you, in terms of the lifestyle you want to have and the way you want your life to be, figuring out how much is enough as opposed to how much you can earn is such a healthy approach to be able to then work backwards, as the book alludes to, and be able to build your business or even your employee career or whatever it is, build it so that you're enjoying what you're doing. But God, I agree with you. I mean, I know so much advice is like niche down, and it works for so many service providers. But as a service provider, like if I picked one style of podcast that I helped brands create, and like I was just the expert in, say, creating podcasts for tech startups, I would be bored in 3 months. It's not, that is, you can do it again and again and get as good as you can at doing that and really, really know the niche. But there is, work can give us so much satisfaction in so many other parts of our lives. Not always, but sometimes if we let it. And it's, so important. So I agree with you. Like, I love a little bit of variety over niching down, but different strokes for different folks. And that's definitely what this pod aims to facilitate, is as many conversations as we can so you can find what's right for you.
I would never, ever profess that the way that I do things is the right way. In many, many, many respects, I think the way that I do things is absolutely wrong. And don't take my advice. It's terrible. If you do things the way I do things, like, I don't know, there's no guarantee that you're gonna make it, because I almost friggin' didn't. That's it. Trying to finding what you're happy with. And I think we don't look enough at being happy and satisfied and excited. I think we look at being successful, but we don't look at what success actually means to us. And for me, success is those things. It's being happy and excited every day. Like, sometimes stuff sucks. Sometimes you do jobs that you might hate or that are tedious or whatever, but that shouldn't be the norm. That's the little parts of it. And grind is not the same as unhappiness. Success to me is being happy and being excited, even in the tough parts, knowing that you're still having fun. And I always come back to that. There's a song, and I can't remember who sings it now. It's from Scrubs, which I used to love. The song is, "Are You Having a Good Time?" And I play that in my head all the time. And I ask myself that all the time, like, even especially when it gets tough, are you having a good time? And if the answer is no, that's when something changes. If the answer is yes, but just not right this second, then that's fine. We can push through this. But the answer overall always has to be yes. If it's no, I change something.
I like that. And I like the context as well, as not right now, but overall, yes. It's, a way to get ourselves out of our own head. And we almost skipped past something that you said there that I just wanted to bring back and highlight, which is, your experience in, finding clients through word of mouth, but also, almost enabling the beginning of that process to happen through LinkedIn. And now the regular listener of my show will know how much I love hanging out in LinkedIn and how strongly I will argue the case. And everyone says, LinkedIn is a self-promotion bin fire. Like, I'm like, nah, your algorithm's wrong. You're following the wrong people and you're offering the wrong value in the platform too. Because value, I think, is the marketing opportunity for so many of us, but particularly in LinkedIn in terms of like literally giving your advice out for free. Give it out, put it out there, show people what you're made of, show people how you're thinking. One of the strongest trends I'm seeing around at the moment is free ideas, which is I just love. Like, here's a free idea for blah that I just thought of, and it's like such an engaging piece of content to show how you think and how you operate and to do the passive selling well before you're even actually meeting with a client. But, with that, I know that from having like a marketing background, from being active in marketing so much, that value is such a clincher. For someone who wasn't even engaging in marketing the early part of the business, wasn't really thinking about like, how did you come to be someone who provides so much wonderful value on your LinkedIn, which has resulted now in you becoming a LinkedIn top voice, which is a huge coup. Like, how did that even happen for you?
I think early on I recognized, like, I'm someone that wants to help people. Like, that is my goal. I want to help as many people as I possibly can. And I saw that through LinkedIn, I could do that with the experience that I have. I could help people. So I could offer them some advice, some tips, some free ideas, some strategies that they could use, both for themselves and for their teams, for their companies, for their employees. And I'll give that away for free any day of the week. Absolutely. I'll give as much away for free as I possibly can to help as many people as I can. And I think anyone recognizes that you can't possibly give away everything through LinkedIn posts. So if what I'm offering is of value to people, they would have to assume that I know a whole bunch more than that and that I can apply that knowledge and help them in a practical sense. So it was two things. It was one, trying to help people, and two, demonstrating that this is useful and practical. And if you want to expand on that and you want more of it, then come and let's have a chat and let's work together. And I think that's the mindset. Give as much away for free as you possibly can. Like, give away the friggin' farm, because it's impossible to give it all. So give as much as you can, and then people recognize that you actually know what the hell you're talking about. So they'll come to you after that. But yeah, LinkedIn has been an absolute game changer for us in terms of people recognizing that we know what we're doing and in creating connections. Like, the people that I work with now, a lot of them I've never actually met, or I hadn't met previous to that. The people that I've brought on board to do work for us and work with us, 90% through LinkedIn. Our business that we've got, 90% through LinkedIn. I go places now and people go, I think I saw you on LinkedIn. We actually have a group, there's a LinkedIn group that we've got with a bunch of us who are in similar industries, sort of complementary industries, but we don't really compete. So it's actually the perfect group to have. And we talk all the time. A couple of them had met each other, but none of us had met really until we all met up for lunch one day. And now we meet up all the time. Next one's next Friday. And we support each other. You'd know who they are because we're on each other's posts literally every single day. We refer business to each other. We work with each other. And that's all through LinkedIn. And I just came across these people because I'm like, oh, they know what they're talking about. Like, they're actually really good. And we started talking more and slid into each other's DMs and created this group that, yeah, it helps all of us. It's so supportive. It's such a celebration of talent and knowledge if you use it right. So if your LinkedIn feed sucks, it's because you're not curating it. It's because you're engaging with you're engaging with trash. LinkedIn will show you what you engage with. You can unfollow people who you don't like. You can follow more and engage with people who you do like, and LinkedIn will learn that. And eventually you'll come up with a pretty good feed, a pretty good page. But yeah, I couldn't speak more highly of it in terms of business development because it's changed the game for us for sure.
There are two truths about us business owners that both me and our incredible show partner Card Dog Gift know to be true. The first one is that we are some of the most generous humans on the planet. Maybe that's because we regularly have to push ourselves into uncomfortable spaces, learn to problem solve like crazy, and through all of that we realise how impactful the generosity of others is. Whether that's people who've supported us directly through free advice and guidance, or indirectly by sharing their story and learnings on this pod. The second thing I know is we're also often stretched on time and headspace. So whether you struggle to find the perfect gift for your friends and family, have a last minute special occasion that you're not feeling ready for, or want to say thank you to your clients, team members or support team and still make it personal, Card.Gift have got you, and here is how. You can get physical or digital gift cards for retailers like Adore Beauty, Apple, Netflix, Uber and more, like 150 plus more. They have beautiful designs on the cards and support local artists by featuring their designs. Love that. You can get a Visa, MasterCard or EFTPOS gift card, which honestly just provides endless good feels for those you give it to. I personally love being able to get exactly what I want, or just get myself some silly little treats like an overpriced smoothie and say a silent thank you to the human who gifted it to me. And you can even get hyper personal with them with a custom photo, a heartfelt message, or even a video message. And lastly, Card.Gift are the loveliest of teams. From their co-founder Nick to their marketing team of Lexi and Tash down in Melbourne, they're hardworking and care about what they do, and I value their support of this show so much as it helps me to keep supporting you to thrive. So next time you're being generous, type Card.Gift into Google and thank me later. Amazing. I can definitely relate. It's my favorite place on the internet to hang out and to learn and also to offer value too. So totally agree. Now, we're definitely at risk of running this podcast to be extraordinarily long because I do have a lot more I would love to pick your brain on, but I will settle on thinking about where you are now, because as you've said, you've been in business for quite some years and it's been the chaotic early journey, the settle, which I'm sure has then come into other chaotic moments. At this stage of your business now, what is keeping you up at night?
Oh, goodness. What is keeping me up at night? In terms of overall, there's nothing really. Like there's the day-to-day stresses of, have I done this right? Have I done enough? Logistically, this went wrong. How do we fix that? Like I've always got those thoughts running through my head. But overall, I'm extremely bullish on the future of health and well-being, and the future of health and well-being in a very practical sense. So actually today I put out an article on LinkedIn, and it's about the wellness industry and how it's this bloated, malformed bullshit machine that just keeps being fed by garbage, and we're all falling for it. The wellness industry globally has grown to $5.6 trillion, which makes it the third largest economy in the world. But our well-being is getting worse. And I think it's because we don't focus on the practicality. So I think the future of health and well-being is very, very practical. It's very specific, and it's very individualized, and it focuses on not only the skills that we can learn to make ourselves better, but the environments that we apply those skills in, and how the dynamics between us and our team members, and what our role is in facilitating well-being for ourselves and for them. That, I think, is the future of well-being. And the beauty of that is that it's a set of skills. And once you have those skills, you recognize that you're better at it, and you get curious and you work more on that and more on that and more on that. And that's not something that you need to pay someone every day for, or every week, or every month for. That's something that you learn and then maybe get some support along the way, but you do it yourself. So I think I'm very, very bullish on the future of well-being that actually works. And you can keep your ginseng teas and mushroom drops and all of that sort of stuff. Like let's get down to the actual practicalities. Let's cut the bullshit and look at what actually works. I'm very, very bullish on the future of health and well-being in that sense. So overall, there's nothing that really troubles me enough that I could point to and go, oh, this is a really, really big problem. I think a lot of the problems are sort of falling away as people not only focus more on their health and well-being, but because of the cost of living crisis, because of inflation, people are looking to what works, and they're cutting away the fluff and looking to what works. So actually that's, I know we are running short of time, but that actually makes me excited in this world that we find ourselves in, where finances are such a huge pressure for all of us, we're cutting away the nonsense. We're cutting away the things that don't work and focusing on the things that do work. And improving well-being is one of the cheapest ways that you can make a difference in your organization. Giving people a raise, we know that in terms of health and well-being, in terms of job satisfaction, that is very, very, very fleeting, because that level of money now becomes the standard, and now people are looking for more of that and more of that and more of that. People need to be paid an adequate amount, most definitely, but if you're giving them raises to keep them happy, that's a very, very expensive thing to do. If you're instead looking after their health and well-being in a very practical way, helping them to be happier, helping them to be healthier and more well, the ROI for that is enormous. So yeah, I'm excited. A lot of the wellness industry will die off, which friggin' hooray. It should come sooner, but the real stuff is going to thrive and continue. So I'm not worried about it. I'm actually pretty excited for the future.
Well, it just is the heart of everything, isn't it? Feeling well and, being able to thrive in these terrifying situations we often put ourselves in as business owners, and, being able to show up authentically in that moment is just so important. I had to laugh at the mushrooms. I do love my mushroom tea though. Have you tasted it?
I have. And look,
it is so bloody delicious.
Let me just slightly clarify that. If you're taking mushroom tea and still not exercising and not paying attention to your sleep and that sort of thing, you're focusing on the 1% and leaving the 95% undone. And that's what a lot of people are doing, looking for the shortcut, the way around things without actually putting in the work. And in health and well-being, like in entrepreneurship, like in business, like in anything that actually matters, our relationships, there's no shortcut. There never has been. There never will be. It's the work, and you got to do the work to get the results. There will never be a shortcut. Yeah, I suppose if I could get one message across to individuals, it's there will never be a shortcut. Make your peace with it. Do the work.
You've just completely and perfectly summed up why these conversations exist, to give that really practical perspective that when you are embarking on something as hard as what it is that we do every day in developing a side hustle, a full-time business, or whatever, there absolutely are no shortcuts. It is personal growth, it is pain, but it is worth it and it is wonderful. So yeah, thank you for giving me the perfect soundbite to wrap up our conversation today. It is absolutely bang on. And, when it comes to authenticity in business and authentic conversations and authentic self, you just have it in buckets. So I'm so grateful that I found you on LinkedIn, first of all, but also that you have been so generous in sharing your journey today. It really is a gift to give to me, to the listener, and everybody to help us all on our own path as we navigate through it as well. How can we support you in return? What can we do to support you and your business?
On LinkedIn, basically. We do everything in workplace wellbeing. So people always ask me that, how can I help you? And it's, if you need something in workplace wellbeing, or you know someone who does, then put us in touch, because what we do is not a package to sell. It's not wrapped up in a neat little bow. Here you go. It's always a conversation. Everything that we do is bespoke. We extend and improve lives of employees in companies. So that takes time, and there's nuance in that. So if you are interested in workplace wellbeing, regardless of what your budget or resources or current position are, then come and have a chat to us. Send me a DM. If you know someone who is, send them to us. If we can't help them, which sometimes happens, we're not right for people, we know where to direct them. So it is always worth a conversation. So yeah, add me on LinkedIn, send me a DM. If you like my content, engage with it. You'll see more of it. But yeah, workplace wellbeing is nuanced, and it deserves a conversation, not just to buy this now. So let's have a chat.
Oh, I love that. Even that was a lesson. Not everything has to be wrapped up in a perfect package and perfect bow for all services to be able to sell it. It is perfectly correct to often make things bespoke and conversation-based. Love it, Phil. You have been such a joy to speak to today, and I'm so grateful that you've shared all of your learnings with me, with the listener. Of course, the link to add you on LinkedIn will be in the show notes, so the listener can easily click through there, and if I haven't even set up a profile, get on that. LinkedIn is the future. But anyway, not an ad for LinkedIn, but happy to take the sponsorship anytime. It's been a pleasure to chat with you today, Phil. Thank you for being here with me.
Thanks so much for having me, Kim. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Unemployed and Afraid, the podcast for small business builders with your host, me, Kim Curtin. If you love it, you can say thanks with a star rating and a review, and of course, join the community on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Find us at Unemployed and Afraid wherever you're hanging out, and I'll see you there.